Hey gang, in today's video I'm going to show you how to turn a little block of Purple Heart like this into an awesome bottle stopper like this. Stay tuned. I was looking for some fun Christmas gifts to do on the lathe, and I saw this bottle stopper turning kit over at Peachtree Wood Turning Supply. It pretty much comes with everything you need, including the stopper chuck, the drill bit, a ratchet handle. There's a tap that you need because you're going to be screwing the bottle stoppers into your finished turned wood. And so I figured, you know what, let's go ahead and give it a try. So what do you say? Let's go ahead and make us a bottle stopper. Okay, so inside the kit you can see that there is an instruction sheet. It's basically just the outside. You flip it over and there's a full instruction sheet. It tells you everything you need, which includes CA glue, your bottle stopper blank, which is usually about a 1.5 by 2.5 or 3-inch piece of wood. And it's square would be helpful. Some sandpaper, finish of your choice, and turning tools. They forget lathe, but I think that's assumed. So basically, we're going to go through the instructions here step by step. I've got a piece of Purple Heart that I think would look pretty cool as a bottle stopper, at least for my first one. So let's go ahead and cut that down to size first, and then we'll go ahead and start tapping the wood. Well, we'll drill the hole, we'll tap the wood, and we'll put it on the little chuck. All right. Okay, so this next step is to tap the hole that we just made with the drill with this little tap. It's a ratcheting tap, so you can see it ratchets. And it goes back the other way. When you put it in the middle, that's where you actually can tighten up the chuck or loosen the chuck to remove this. So I'm going to leave it in the middle to start with, and then just slowly and as straight as I can put it in here and start trying to tap a thread in here. This is going to be the thread that is used by both the chuck and by the topper itself, the bottom of the bottle topper. So I'm just going to slowly turn this and start cutting those threads. Keep it as straight as I can. Just kind of look from both sides. And I've got some, move this a little bit. So I'm getting this Purple Heart stuff in here, and I'm getting off a little bit, so straighten it up. And back it out. It's a slow process because you can see all the stuff that's coming out of here. All of this little dust and stuff that comes out of here is from the threads that you're cutting, so you don't want to cut too fast or try to cut too deep. You want to give a chance for all those little shavings to be cleared out. It's kind of like running a Forstner bit where you have to clear your chips and then go back in and continue cutting. So I'm going to back it out. Purple Heart's pretty hard wood. They say if you're going to use soft wood, that what you can do is after you cut the threads, run some thin CA in there, and that will help to set those threads. Then you just run the tap in there to it one more time, and that will kind of clean them out, but that'll give some strength to that softer wood. But this is pretty hard wood, so I'm not worried about it. We need to back it out a little bit. Once you get it going in there though, you can feel those threads starting to bite, and it's much easier to keep it straight and aligned. and you can start and stop a lot easier. And I think I've about bottomed out there, so I think we're done. You just kind of make note of where that is. The hole's only 3/4 of an inch deep, according to the directions, so we should be pretty good. And you can see I went about that far in, and there's my little scribe line on there. So we tapped it all the way in, and on to the next step. Okay, so the next step is to take the screw chuck and put that onto the lathe spindle. This is an 8 tooth per inch spindle right here. That's kind of a pretty standard. So I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to lock this so it doesn't turn. Put this on here. Get it down on there. Okay, and then the next step is to take the blank and hand tighten that onto the screw chuck, and they say that you should just do it by hand, and it should seat down onto the bottom of the screw chuck. So let me get this turned in there. And that's pretty perfect right onto the base. There we go. Alright, so the next step is to start turning the shape that I want for this bottle stopper. Alright, I just cleaned it off with a little naphtha, and now I'm going to go ahead and let that dry for just a minute and then apply a finish. And I think today what I'm going to try is just something really simple. I've got this Hut Crystal Clear Coat, and it's one of my favorite things to use on like pens and things like that. So I think I'll go ahead and give it a try for this and see how I like it. Alright, so this is a friction polish. And so basically I start off just by putting some on a towel and turning the piece by hand just to get it kind of all worked in. And then what will happen is as I turn the lathe on and keep the pad pressed to the piece, it'll start polishing and hardening as I go. So let's go ahead and Alright, so the final step is to take this off the chuck, which is easier said than done. Hang on a second, I need a wrench for this one. Woo. Alright, that turned out pretty nice. We just have one more thing to do to finish this off. Alright, so the final step is to take this chrome bottle stopper right here that's threaded with the same thing that the chuck was, and we put this on here, and if we did everything right, it should thread right on, and that base should match up perfectly to the bottle stopper. Give it a little twist. And there we go. Look at that. Merry Christmas to someone. You're getting a bottle stopper.